Hello, Internet. Okay, so I just have to think about how I'm going to do this here. I wanted to talk a little bit about my success. Now, you can see I'm letting everyone know my initial weight over the winter, 305. And I started this whole thing, I was 290. At the end of 1 week, I was at 180. Now, this is the goal here, and this is the actual weight. So in blue, I have this goal. I never even had a goal getting to 190, but there we go. 190, and if I could lose 3 pounds a week, I don't know why it says at beginning, I guess, after week 1, beginning of week 2, I am at 280. So I'm quite happy. On top of that, in this spreadsheet, this is the spreadsheet is a Google spreadsheet. So if you don't have a spreadsheet on your computer, you want to do something like this, you're going to go through Google, a Google Drive, and you will go to a little circle with a plus on it. That means you want to create something in Google, and you will choose a spreadsheet, and to do the you create a table like this. If you select the whole table and then you go do the view thing, I believe it's view, you can select to do a chart. Anyways, I could describe that in the future if anyone's confused about it. So at the bottom here, so there's a spreadsheet. I just putting in my numbers here. It creates a table here. Let's say my weight is gone crazy well. Be positive. Let's say 275 by the end of week 2. It would do that for me. All right. I don't have any expectation that, well, if I do 5 pounds a week, that's pretty good. This 10 pounds this first time was amazing. So what I'm doing is intermittent fasting. I try to eat all my food in the period after 4 o'clock to approximately 10 o'clock, maybe even midnight. Most of the time what I'm ending up doing is eating, I eat spinach. I don't even mark it down here down here I'm putting a daily log. You can see a bunch of days missed. I haven't really missed them. I have written it in my cell phone, and I need to copy it into here. So I will write down the date, and then I do a journal entry. I'm finding that my eating is very much an issue of emotions, right? So if I have a bad day, I can make myself feel better and make everything good again by just downing a few donuts. Then my day is good again, and I'm all happy, at least short term. So, and on top of that, I find it's a social event too. So I'll talk in my journal about anything with people, because it causes me to eat, and having a bad day or having a good day changes the amount I'll eat. And then I'll put in, I'll put in the food that I did eat. So, and of course the journal entry, when you go on it, let's see if we can get there. Yeah, when you go on it in a spreadsheet, I'll move this up so we can see. And this is the Google spreadsheet. When you're looking at a spreadsheet, you have, and you want to make a journal entry. So I'm still clicked down there on the journal entry, and what I've actually entered goes up here. So it's a little tricky doing things on a spreadsheet, but I find it's pretty nice once you understand everything you can do. So in the cell A, starting at 13, I did a journal entry, and that's only where your journal entries are fitting in. If you're in B13, there's nothing. Nothing, I mean right up there, there's nothing. Over here, it spills over. A is spilling over this way. If you put any entry in here, it will just cut it off right there. That's typical spreadsheet. The other thing I have in my spreadsheet is over here. These are notes about, let's see if we can just move this over a bit here. Thinking here. Yeah, I want to do this. Over here is recipe notes. So this is what I would eat, and this is how I would calculate how much calories there are in each one. Okay, having said that, I want to just make a comment. I was on my previous video talked about going to this website, Man vs. Fat. I'm having some trouble getting logged into a group. I don't know whether it's because of summer holidays or because I didn't update my profile the way they wanted me to update my profile. So I've gone back to it, I've updated my profile, and we'll wait a little longer. I suspect, as I wrote in my Man vs. Fat thing, I suspect that my weight loss will not be consistent. And it's very easy to have a start off of a very fast weight loss, and then it just sort of mellows out or even goes back up. I've done that lots. So this winter I was here. I started the weight loss thing here, and I never noticed even this loss of weight right here, but I am doing a lot of biking. I am doing a lot more activity, and it probably would be obvious to anybody in Man vs. Fat, and I'll explain it here too. I was getting severe headaches, and that's where my weight gain started, because I get these headaches. And what happens to me when I get a headache is I start to lose my vision. The first time I went to emergency, and that was about two and a half years ago, I was down in the emergency. I had about 30%, 40% vision. I really couldn't see what I was doing. And my eyes were completely looked like a horror movie. My eyes were, blood vessels had burst in my eyes, and they were all red. And they suspected a stroke, and they put me through an MRI machine, and they put me through several machines to make sure that there was nothing wrong. And I've gone through sleep disorder clinics, done all that stuff. My doctor says, "Oh, you're just making it up," and it's not true. I know I had 100% at home when it first happened. I was popping Tylenols and stuff. Over an 8-hour period, I was popping more than one an hour. So I'm sure I had 10 or 12 and of aspirin or Tylenol or whatever I could find, anything to stop this. And my vision was so poor that I couldn't remember. So I'd wake up with a headache, be woken up in about 3 a.m. with a headache so bad, and you just sort of jump out of bed because it's just, the pain is so much. And then as you're walking down to try and get some pills or something, the vision just starts dropping to the point where I had zero. I could not see a chair even a foot in front of me. I couldn't see. I had no vision, no idea where the chair was. I had to use my hand to feel for it. And I've had some trouble with vision before, so this isn't totally new. Any case, that happened. Lots of medical stuff, and nobody found anything, but it did mean I really had to stop working. I had several issues, and I had ways of making some money, finding money, and it just was difficult for me. And then last winter, I slipped and fell on some ice, and it really hit my shoulder hard. In fact, so hard I couldn't use my hand for balance, and it's Canada. We got winter, we got ice. And when I couldn't balance myself, I couldn't put my hand out to balance, it really made a difference for walking outside, because I could no longer, if your foot slipped at all or you lost grip, there was nothing you could do. You're just going to go down. So I couldn't have myself go down again a second time. Any case, I am finding that bringing myself down to well under 2,000 calories a day is no problem with intermittent fasting, and going a step further and coming close to 1,000 calories a day is not near as difficult with intermittent fasting. I'm finding with the fasting part that if I eat a meal, it's very easy for me to go over 1,000 calories in a meal and not really think anything of it. And I find that with intermittent fasting, what I'm doing is I have a 16-hour period where there's no food, and then after that I can begin eating. Well, I begin with some spinach and a few other things and a light meal in the first hour. Then hour 2, I will have something to satisfy me, like 500 calories, somewhere in there. And then hour 3 or 4, I will have a dessert. And spreading out one meal in my mind instead of having multiple little meals is so if I had, I guess my thinking, my subconscious, uncontrollable thoughts would be, if I have a meal, I must eat this, because after this, I'm going to stop eating. So I would try and eat, I know I eat extra. I know I would try and throw something extra in, because you're going to stop now. So quickly throw something in so you can make it to the next period. Whereas now my thinking is, oh no, we're not stopping. We're continuing. The meal continues for the next 4 hours. You're not stopping. And it just, it's a new way of thinking. Not new. I used to do this when I was 16. But this is a different way of thinking, that the meal's just going to continue on and on and on. And the food, there's so much. It's a thinking of plenty instead of a desperation, hey, you got to worry about where this food's coming from. All in all, it's really working well for me so far. I'm going to document this, and we'll see how it goes. Thank you for watching. If you're watching, be inspired to lose weight. And I would say, if you're not getting dizzy or anything, stopping your eating for 16 hours, 3 or 4 days out of the week, not an issue. It shouldn't be, unless you're having blood sugar problems, at least for me. Yeah, I have thoughts of food by it. Okay, so I don't eat till 4 in the afternoon, and I have thoughts of food somewhere around noon. It's almost 1 o'clock right now, and then I'll have what I will do is I'll start preparing food at 4 o'clock. While I'm preparing the food, I'm eating spinach, raw spinach, and that's my beginning of breaking the fast. So the whole time that I'm breaking my fast, the whole time I'm making the food, I'm eating the vegetables, which I am not a vegetable lover. I hate vegetables, and I'm not particularly a big fan of spinach. Now, the advantage I found with the spinach now is I finally came up with a way to eat spinach that makes more sense to me. Used to be I'd wash spinach and I'd try and get the stuff all in a package and try and eat it. Now what I'm doing is I have a huge bowl in the fridge, one of the biggest bowls you can get for the fridge. It probably holds about a gallon of water, and I put the spinach in there, and it's just sort of floating in my gallon of water. Now when I'm doing stuff, I'm not measuring out how much spinach I'm eating. I'm just eating it, and the message to me in my brain, the way I'm working this is, while you're making the